So, you're ready for spoilers? Yes! Time for spoilers now. I am only going to really talk about two major spoilers, and it really has happened. It's two of my favourite scenes from the book. And one of the scenes in particular is the fact that during this book, the team that is the Wardens and Merrick eventually do come across a sloth demon. And if you remember what a sloth demon is in Dragon Age Origins, I'll try and recap it the best I can. I have read the codex on it. I'm going to try and summarise it. A sloth demon basically has the ability to render you unconscious and transport your unconscious self into the Fade, in which it creates paradise for you, making you not want to leave that happiness. But at the same time, the longer you stay there, the more powerful the sloth demon becomes, because it is slowly but surely draining away at your very life essence. I am such a geek, but I love it. But yeah, they do come across a sloth demon this way, and Fiona the mage, who is an elven mage, who I honestly love her character, she's awesome. She basically becomes possessed by it, and everyone else is rendered unconscious and brought into the Fade. And it's mainly from the point of view of Merrick, who, this is the main thing I want to talk about. Like, they eventually do free themselves, and Merrick saves Fiona, which plays a little bit more into my other spoiler, which I want to talk about. And it is the fact that in the Fade, Merrick comes across Cat. I call her Cat. She's from the Stolen Throne. She's basically the Orlesian bard that he fell in love with, and he killed her because she betrayed him, and he's regretted it ever since. Throughout the book, he mentions it every now and then, and he's constantly feeling regret about it. And the sloth demon took that as an advantage, and basically gave him the perfect life. He was married to Cat, he was the king of Ferelden, and he was happy. But he did break free of it, but not on his own actually. He actually got a little help from Cat. Now, it isn't flat out said. David Gaider is very good at the mysterious part of this party too, especially the two spoilers that I love, is that he doesn't once mention whether or not that this Cat that is in the Fade with Merrick is the real Cat. He hints at it. He very well hints at the fact that this may be the real Cat. And if you know the lore of the Dragon Age universe, you know that once someone dies, everyone has a connection to the Fade via their dreams. But once someone dies, no one really knows what happens to them. They're never really seen again unless they're ghosts. Now, the Chant of Light states that you go to the Maker's side, but is the Maker's side in the Fade? And I don't think once we actually saw any familiar people in the Fade. You only ever really see people in the Fade when you go into the Fade to save someone, basically. Like in Dragon Age Origins and Redcliffe, where you have to save the boy. And it's done well. He hints at the fact that this actually may be the real Cat, but it isn't flat out said. It could be a demon, because it does try and say to Merrick, why don't you stay here with me? You're happy here. I really do miss you, and you know I love you. And that kind of hints at the fact that it's more of a demon, but at the same time it still has very, very reminiscent traits of the real Cat from the Stolen Throne. And I honestly don't know if it's really her. If David Gaider can answer that, please let me know. I'd love to know that, because it could possibly be really her, because we know that there are good spirits in the Fade in the Dragon Age universe. However, we've never the only good spirit that we've actually seen, we've seen two technically, but more so one. The spirit that is possessed Wynn, because she is possessed by a spirit of healing, I think. I'm not 100% certain about that, just from the way her magic is. I think that's what it does. And also the spirit of Justice. Justice from Dragon Age Awakening, not from Dragon Age 2. The one from Dragon Age Awakening, who is a good spirit. He seeks justice. I don't know why, but I keep thinking that Cat has became one of those spirits. I don't know why. Like, where did Justice come from? Was he a noble person in his real life who went to the Fade and became a spirit of justice? Has Cat actually... was her sadness and her love for Merrick so powerful that she became like a spirit of love, or a spirit of caring, or compassion? I don't know. Is it the real Cat? It's never flat out said if it is. It's kind of more hinted at the fact that she's a demon, but I really do think it's actually the real her, and I'd love to know if that was the right thing. It's just, he plays on it very well. He plays on it like, here's the line, and the way I'm going, it could be a demon, or it could actually be the real Cat, and I think it's the real Cat, just the way that she said, the way she spoke, the way she said things to Merrick. It was excellently done, and I loved it. Yeah, I really would love to know the answer to that. One of the other spoilers what I talk about actually happens at the end. Now, throughout the book, there's a little bit of a romance going on between Fiona and Merrick, and they do actually have basically shag in the deep roads twice in the book anyway. I don't know what happened in between the pages. And before you go, there's not an explicit sex scene in any of these books. It's sort of like the way Dragon Age is. It's like it basically gives you the bare bones and then cuts off, like fade to black. And it's very well done. And now I don't know, but halfway through the book, after like the first initial love scene between Merrick and Fiona, I just got a weird feeling that Fiona was going to become pregnant, and I was right. She actually does become pregnant. And after they basically save the day and basically get out of there by the end of it, it actually skips forward in the epilogue. I think it's like a couple months later, but maybe probably about 10 months later, and Fiona comes to visit Merrick. And he kind of has mixed feelings where he loves her, but at the same time he's like, I love you. And she basically just says to him that she has to leave, basically. She actually has to go back to Orlays and have some tests done and maybe go help the Grey Wardens again. And she basically comes in, basically tells Duncan to stay outside for a moment, and then when Duncan comes back in, he's carrying a baby boy. And she's a bit flat and says, Merrick, this is your son. And like, what? And the way he describes it, I am thoroughly convinced. Now, if you kind of guess right now, but she basically says to Merrick, in fact, I'll see if I can get the scene actually. I'll see if I can read it out actually, because I really would like to read it out. If I can get it. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. They can have blah 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 blah. But yeah, when Fiona wanted her son to. The ache in his heart threatened to make him explode. Merrick knew nothing of being elven, and if Fiona wanted her son to be free from the struggle she endured, he wouldn't deny her that. Let the boy have the chance to be free of both their legacies. He looked at Fiona in the eyes and slowly nodded. If that's what you want, yes, I can do that. Thank you, Merrick. And what about you? He asked her. Will I see you again? He could tell by her expression that the answer was no. Yet she nodded anyway. If the Maker wills it. She breathed, and then she leaned in and kissed him, and he kissed her back. It felt sweet and sad and right. He had this moment, the two of them sitting in the warm firelight as Duncan tactfully wandered with the child to the other side of the room. Even though they parted had the air of finality, somehow Merrick still couldn't bring himself to feel sad. This didn't feel like an ending. It felt like a beginning. Wow. And it's just expertly run, and basically she asked Merrick, as it said there, to basically raise this child not as an elf, but as a human. And Merrick says that he has got to do that, and it's very well done. And it's very much hinted at that this baby is Alistair. It's fucking Alistair. I am thoroughly convinced on that baby is Alistair, but just with the way he describes it. It's very well done, and I loved it. Now, David Gaider, I would love to know the answer to that as well. Is that baby Alistair? Because it is hinted at, but it's never explicitly said. They don't say, and we shall name him Alistair. It's never said that, and it's very well done. Like, that is the major spoiler for me, is like, is that baby Alistair? And if that's the case, that also explains why Duncan was so very guarded of Alistair. I said, I'm running out of time here. I'll have to quickly wrap this up. But basically, throughout in Dragon Age Origins, Alistair says that Duncan was like a father to him. And Duncan apparently actually made a promise at the end of the book that he would look after Alistair. He would actually pop in every now and then whenever he came back to Ferelden to check up on Alistair. And that, to me, screams, it's fucking Alistair. The baby is Alistair. Alistair is half-elf. Yes! And it's very well done. It kind of changes Alistair's origin as well. Is that really Alistair? I'd love to know the answer to that. So I'm going to have to end this video now. But very well done, David Gaider. Definitely a big thank you for that book. 2 of the spoilers, 2 of the questions I want answered. But the main one I want answered was that baby Alistair. And I do know Fiona is still alive after Dragon Age 2 because she's in the 3rd Dragon Age book. I do know that. Asunder, which I'm currently in the middle of reading. And that's after the events of Dragon Age 2. So maybe we'll get to see Fiona in Dragon Age 3. I'm hoping. And maybe we'll see a reunion between her and Alistair. My heart would soar then. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. and I really can't wait. I'll get Asunder done as soon as possible, and I hope you enjoyed this. As always, I'm Scottish182. If you want to see further WION reviews, there's a button up there somewhere that you can click. I think it's called subscribe. Feel free if you want to. But as always, I'm Scottish182, and I'll see you all later. Ciao for now. Mwah.